Good morning. Today's message is, you can't take it with you. Now, that's generally a reminder to us to not focus our attention so much on material possessions, things, so that we can focus on more important things. A reminder that when we die, we can't take our possessions with us. I also see it as a reminder to us to think about and focus on perhaps more important things in our lives. Well, it's Sunday again, so we won't do an activity. Instead, let's talk about family, the importance of family, particularly the importance of family history, family heirlooms, and family heritage. Now, in your family, I know you have plenty of examples, plenty of great people to draw on. Between the Johnsons, the Coxes, the Wilsons, and the Crandalls, I imagine there are thousands and thousands of stories. In the case of the Crandalls, some of the stories are even true. Davy, that was a joke. Now, let's focus on a few of those examples here. First, when I thought about family history, I thought of this book. Do you recognize the people on the front? That's Nana Wilson. That's Granddad Wilson. Restoring Righteous Paths. They wrote this book so that their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, you, could learn a little about their lives, perhaps learn a little bit more about them, their stories, their struggles, and successes to maybe give you some inspiration in life. I know your mom has a copy of this book. You should ask her about it. Now, every family may not have a book, but every family has a history, and every family can tell that history, just like Nana and Granddad did to their family, to their children, their grandchildren, and you. Today, when I thought of family heirlooms, I thought about this wooden bowl right here. Do you know what a family heirloom is? It might be a watch or a clock, piece of jewelry, could be some diaries or important papers. But it's something probably from long ago. Might even be furniture. That brings us back to the bowl. This bowl belonged to Mary Elizabeth Moore. She was born in 1876 and died in 1937. She was your third great-grandmother, so 5 generations before now. And this was something that she used in her daily life every day. And then it got passed to her daughter, your grandmother, Nana's grandmother, who gave it to her. So it went from Mary to Alice Loynd, who was your great-great-grandmother, to your Nana, Ollie. Now, it's cracked, and right here it's got a big crack in it. So it's fragile and brittle now, so it doesn't get used every day. But it had this chopping instrument here that was used to chop vegetables, food, different things to prepare around the kitchen. So it has significance and meaning as a family heirloom because it reminds us of our ancestors and some of the struggles they had, some of the things they had to go through in their life. And we want some of that meaning to get passed down to our next generations. Lastly, when I thought of family heritage, I thought of my mom, Grandma Crandall, who you all know. Here's some pictures of her. She loved making goofy face pictures. Here's one. Here's Grandma doing her favorite thing, camping. That's a joke also, Davy. And then here she is when my older sisters and I were just babies. So, in our family, my mom was the keeper and protector of all of our family beliefs, our family values, and our traditions. She helped us remember that we were Crandalls and we had expectations in our life, that we had to be different than everybody else, do things differently, don't follow the crowd. She reminded us of the traditions that she had in her family growing up and of the traditions we had in our family, especially those around the holidays, birthdays, and other calendar type events. In other words, she wanted us to be sure and to remember who our ancestors were, what they did, and how they lived their lives. In fact, let's pay a little visit to Grandma Crandall right now.
I was the oldest child, and as I said before, we went to a parochial school, Lutheran day school, and we did the Christmas Eve service. It was a big deal because we practiced for a solid month or something. It was one of the 2 times a year that my dad went to church, but he was a believer, but he didn't believe in going to church. Anyway, and the Christmas Eve service, we all had parts that had to be memorized. We had hymns. We usually marched into the church or into the chapel area with singing, what was it? "Oh, Come All Ye Faithful," I believe. And then we would all have our parts, and then after it was over, Santa Claus would bring these stockings, which were full of things like goodies like oranges. We didn't get oranges in the winter. We only got them in the summer. And candy and nuts and stuff like that. It was a nice big one. So we went home with those. The kids would go in and then we'd open what presents we had. The times I remember were during World War II, when I was pretty young then yet. But we didn't have a lot. Mom would usually, you could count on underwear and socks. That was a norm. And then mostly we get like color books and stuff like that. Little kids would get a toy or a doll or something, you know. But that was our Christmas Eve, and then Mom we'd have snacks of all kinds, which we never had, you know, any other time. But that was our Christmas. And the next day, everybody slept in. We had all this stuff done, so everybody slept in. And then we had Christmas dinner. And sometimes we had relatives over, but mostly it was just us.
So other than Grandma Crandall here, we have some other guest stars. You guys know who these people are? Who are you?
I'm Becky. I'm the important one.
I'm your Aunt Susie. I'm really important.
I'm no one of consequence. I'm Dave.
Hi. Now, wasn't that a special treat? Being able to visit Grandma Crandall, and you didn't even have to get off the couch. This is such a wonderful thing to be able to do. That's it for today. This is Papa Steve's Workshop, and I'm Papa Steve.